So there are 5 stages of entrepreneurial development or growth, right? You have the employee level, you have the self-employed level, then you have the entrepreneur, investor, and then philanthropist at the top of that pyramid. Let's break that down. Talk about those 5 stages of entrepreneurial growth.
So most people tend to start out as employees, and these are typically, I would say, a good majority of people.
Yeah.
You have a wealthy uncle or dad or mom, you can, just roll up the chain of their company, you already have stocks and all that. But most people start out at the employee level. And that's usually where you try to, gain your experience in the working environment, different from the studying environment or training environment, so to speak. So when you come out of college, for some people, and whatever training they've gone through for other people, your first introduction to the working environment is as an employee. Now, why is it important? It's important because you learn, first of all, to show up to work on time. And that's important because as you grow through the pyramid, you're going to now be doing this without anybody having to watch you clock in or clock out. So I also look at those who have had experience working in any company as good. That's a good start. Than someone who wants to start business that does not have the discipline to meet timelines or deadlines or deliverables. Now, the difference between meeting timelines, deadlines, and deliverables in training or in college is that then you're trying to get a grade. Now you're trying to get a paycheck. So the employee phase is important. When people get in, I always suggest learn all you can. Start with a structured approach to learning. So give yourself some years. For example, say, you know what? In the first 5 years, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, first of all, get into a business or an organization that matches or mirrors your ideals of where you want to go career-wise. This is why I always say your first step is always a personal vision. Very, very first step. Once you have a personal vision, it includes not only what you want to do with your career or your business, but what you want to do with your personal life as well. And it actually puts all those in perspective. So that right there and then okay, I want to start a family. I want to invest so I can buy a home or a car or whatever. So you have those as your personal vision. Career-wise, you say, you know what, I want to learn these skills so that I can be effective in this area. I want to grow in this company so I can be effective in this and this and that. So once you have that personal vision and you become an employee, then now have a structured approach. First thing is say, in this first year, I'm going to understand the stakeholders for this business. I'm going to understand all the systems of the business process and all that in the second year. Give yourself, I'm not saying most employers are not going to recruit you to learn one thing. They're going to give you a task. They need you to execute that task. But your goal, your private goal, is to identify, you want to become an expert in 5 years. Why 5 years? Well, the standard or rule of thumb is if you do anything for 10,000 hours, 10,000 hours is equivalent to doing 2,000 hours a year. Outside vacation time and the rest, most professionals work 2,000 hours a year. So that means in 5 years, you've done 10,000 hours. After those 5 years, you must be an expert. If you're not an expert, you're slow. You've messed up your time, you've wasted time. So what you want to do is have a structured approach to learning. First year, I want to learn systems, I want to learn processes, I want to learn who are the stakeholders and people that I interact with. Why? What does billing do? What does accounting do? What does finance do? What does marketing do? Understand what those people do.
Yeah.
And then not so much in depth, but the role they play in the organization.
Yeah.
Second year, in the area of your work, try to be an expert. Try to be knowledgeable about the business processes.
Yeah.
You know, why does new accounts transition into existing accounts, transition into claims if you're in insurance?
Yeah.
If you're in banking, what happens to a new account after it's opened?
Yeah.
You know, does it become an existing account after what period?
Yeah.
And then what other services can the banks or the financial institution offer?
Right.
If you're in telecom,
Mm-hmm.
understand what it takes to acquire a new service for a client.
Yeah.
What is residential service? What is commercial service?
Yeah.
What is wholesale service?
Mm-hmm.
Understand those things second year. I'm not saying again that you ignore the task you've been given.
Right.
But your focus for that year is, I'm going to learn this thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay attention to this.
Right.
At the end of 5 years, I must be an expert.
Yeah.
That's the task you want. When you become an expert, you transition into self-employment. The key thing is, at that point, you now have had a taste of what you're doing as an employee.
Yeah.
You know where you can shine and where you don't shine.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference is now you decide on the choice to work for yourself.
Right.
And you've made that choice to work for yourself. And so as in self-employment, you're doing what you enjoy and what you are an expert in, what you're good at.
Yeah.
And so you can render your services. Remember what I said earlier is that whatever you provide in business must solve the problem.
Yes.
If you can't solve the problem, you won't get paid.
Yeah.
So your first goal is, what problem would I solve being an expert?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that transitions you into self-employment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're self-employed, you also have to deal with paying bills, paying taxes, paying yourself a salary. And you may have employees, and so you pay them salaries and pay their taxes and all that stuff.
Right.
What you don't want to do is get stuck in there as well.
Okay.
Because guess what? There's a limit to everything we do. Time.
Yeah.
Time keeps going.
Yeah.
So the reason I've put markers for you, 5 years to become an expert.
Yeah.
Another 2 years to kick off your own practice, so to speak, right? 2 years kick off your practice where you're fully entrenched, you have people working and helping out, doing things.
Right.
And then after that, maybe you run that for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Then
your other responsibility is to bring in people to do what you do.
Right.
If you are a professional, accountant, CPA, pharmacist, doctor, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're still broke if you still work for yourself. If you have to touch a patient as a doctor or a pharmacist, or if you have to touch someone to make money, you're self-employed.
Okay.
That takes us now to the B, what you call
entrepreneurship. And so there's a difference now.
There is a difference.
So there's a difference between self-employed and entrepreneurship.
Correct.
Okay. I know sometimes we can kind of see them as the same or synonymous. So what is the difference?
The main difference is self-employment requires you to be there almost 100% of the time.
Okay.
Almost.
Okay.
Okay. That means if you're not there, the business may not be able to function.
Got it. Okay.
The difference with the business is that you can walk away, but you set up the structure, systems in place to carry on the work.
So the entrepreneur sets the system, the structure for continuity's sake. So when they're gone, it's still moving.
Whether they're alive or they've moved on, that business should still be able to continue.
Okay.
Regardless of the entrepreneur.
Okay.
If a doctor or a chiropractor or an accountant or a pharmacist does not show up for work, guess what? They don't get paid.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner, you get paid whether you're there or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to say you take the habit of not being present at work. Because obviously people are going to say he never shows up or she never shows up.
Yeah.
And they'll run your business down.
Right.
So you have to be constantly, in touch with what's going on in your business.
Right.
And see the indicators and be able to channel people into the right roles.
Yeah.
The next stage is the investor stage.
Okay.
The investor stage is when you build that business and you sold the business and now, you invest in people.
Yeah.
Just like I said, I have people who invested in me.
Right.
And they decided, that's a good idea. We want to support what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they invested so that I could make money for them. Yeah. And at the same time, I can now build a business that can sell for, a good chunk of money. Yeah. And everybody can now, continue to the next stage. Yeah. So there's a trust thing that is established to get investors. Okay. And investors are typically people who are experienced, they're seasoned, depending on the kind of investors. It's angel investors, they're personal people like friends and family kind of investors, angel investors, and then you have the venture capitalists. Okay. And then you have big business investors, and then you can take your company public. Yeah. And that's the ultimate, when you take your company public, where now the public is now investing in you. Yeah. Yeah. The final stage is becoming a philanthropist. Right? And in everything you do, always look at giving back to your community. Yeah. It's that same community that feeds you, whether you like to admit it or not, because they provide the talent pool that you are going to have. And if not, even if it doesn't benefit you directly, it benefits the larger society or the rest of the world. Okay. So there are different goals for becoming a philanthropist, but most businesses tend to work within their communities or within the country. Yeah. And some international.